YouTube. Hey, everything TCG here with you. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. Some of you might call me crazy, but this is one take. There are no edits in this video. There is just me gonna blabber on about Core 2021. And I still haven't come to grips with looking at the camera or looking at myself talking. It's a little bit weird, so we're getting used to it, and we're going to have a bit of fun with it. But this is a series that I've been thinking about launching for so long, and over the past 2 months, 3 months, I've invested quite heavily into Core 2021, and it was kind of my rebirthing back into Magic the Gathering and TCG collectibles and that sort of thing. The other crazy thing is I forgot my glasses, or at least I've misplaced my glasses. I have no idea where they are. I think that's more or less just a little nod to where I am in life right now, because I have no idea what's going on anymore. But we're just having fun with it. So I've got a list here of the rare cards, and really only looking at rare cards right now, because I would go insane digging through all the cards I have. While they're all color-coded and I've boxed them and organized them to a condition that I'm happy with, I'm not quite ready to pull apart and organize them to a degree of either alphabetical or price. Just quickly, as tough as it is to admit, I've probably had 10 2021 bundles opened in the last 2 months, and I've had a booster box as well. For some of you bigger investors, that doesn't seem like much. For me, that's a shitload. That's something that I don't know, I got hooked. Specifically on Core 2021 as well. I feel like for someone who stepped away from it for so long, and looking back at like Aether Revolt and Dominaria and those sets before I went away, Core 2021 seemed to be fitting. There was plenty of Planeswalkers that you could obtain. Ugin was the big card, I guess, of the set. Teferi, Master of Time, another huge sought-after card. However, Teferi has 9 variables printed, and then that's not even foils. That's just borderless, and then the different variables, all having different prices as well. I think roughly the foil borderless Teferi is $52 roughly American right now, as of half an hour ago when I price matched on TCG. All the way down to a standard Teferi non-foil for $15.50. So the variables have huge value differences there. And then looking over Ugin, his borderless card valuing at $31.10 roughly. His foil borderless, $76.71. So there are cards in this set of high value, and I think roughly $76.71 would peter out about $100 Australian. If you haven't picked it up yet, I am Australian. Hello. So $76.71 I think would be about $100 Australian. So is Core 2021 a collector's set? To a degree. I think that when you would be looking at being a collector or an investor, you want to hold on to those cards. But Ugin, his borderless, his showcase, and his normal are 3 of the top 5 cards in price. Terror of the Peaks comes in at number 3 just as a normal card, $22. And then Teferi Borderless at $21.91. So I've seen the Borderless. I have the Borderless Teferi. His foil being the value. $21.90 American is still a good price, but it drops pretty heavily from there. And going back over the list that I had today, I was a bit shocked, I think, to find some of the prices. And I don't know if that's just because my expectations were set from past expansions and pulling the dream card. And the prices that I put here are all based on just their standard price on TCG. You go to Core 2021, they bring up a full list, that price that I saw there. You could dive into the foils, you could dive into the different makes and that. Grim Tutor, the alternate art at $14.90, or his normal at $12.31. So coming back into Magic is the price set on the power of a card, or what makes Grim Tutor more valuable than something else? Is it the number of cards printed, therefore it is harder to find? Where does rare cards stack up? Obviously, mythic cards are the ones. You would almost hope that mythic cards always pull value or maintain value. I don't know. So I'm asking you to help me, because I like the idea of doing videos like this for sets. Coming into Zendikar Rising, is it going to have 3 cards in there, whether that's Nissa or Omnath, that have, you know, a print run of 150% less than every other card, therefore that value shoots through the roof? Is that how Wizards of the Coast operate? Is that how Magic works? Being interested in collecting more than playing, these are the things we need to discuss. Ugin we mentioned. Mangara, mono white card, $6.35. Why? But thank you. I pulled one. $6. Chillin'. I love it. There's a lot of cards also that threw me for a curveball. Necromancer, 18 cents. Pursued Whale, 12 cents. Shacklegeist, 15 cents. The foil, 23 cents. Sabira, 20 cents. Containment Priest, 40 cents. If you get the alternate art on Containment Priest, or the borderless version of Containment Priest, 88 cents. I didn't check the foil, which was a mistake of mine, because that piques my interest. I pulled the borderless foil Containment Priest. Absolutely beautiful card. Absolutely stunning. Probably one of my favorite cards from the set, just based on visuals. And that's what I love about collecting. So 2021 was a very welcoming set, and it was a set that I think is good for collectors. Very strong mechanics built in the cards as well. I've pulled many of the Teferi cards, the Ageless Insights, the Proteges, the things like that, to build quite a strong mill deck, whilst it still being, as annoying as blue is, fun to play with friends. So it has lost. It's lost more than it's won at the moment, and I'm tutoring it and tuning it a little bit to make it a little bit more refined and stronger going forward. Hope it doesn't lose as much, but as a fun, I just want to see how far we can push the mill mechanic. There's a lot of cards in 2021 that allow you to do that. Liliana, Waker of the Dead, $5. And that's just the standard Planeswalker. $5. Garrick, the borderless Planeswalker, $3.80. That just doesn't sound right. Or was Garrick printed so much more than Teferi or Ugin? And I guess that's where, when you start dissecting a set and looking at the prices, you would turn yourself inside out trying to understand. Grim Tutor, as I mentioned before, $15 for the alternate art, and then you've got Garrick for the borderless at $3.80. Blows my mind, man. Massacre Worm, the alternate foil, $9. Very nice. Pulled one. Awesome stuff. So, the 10 bundles that I pulled and the boosters that I pulled, I've pulled cards. I have a hefty collection of core 2021 cards now, and I have looked and very nearly been hooked into getting the collector booster boxes for the shiny stuff. However, I invested probably more money getting more cards through bundles and booster boxes, and the lesson that I learned, probably looking back now, would have been I would have rather invest in to the booster boxes and just bitten the bullet, you know. Bundles feel great because you can pick them up anywhere from, you know, $50 to $70, and you get your magic fix, man. You get your hit, you get to sit down and open cards, and that's fun. People like opening things. But the booster box gives you 36 of those things to open, and it happens very quickly. So you can mince through a booster box in 15 minutes. However, you can sit through a booster box and pull maybe 2 cards that really pique your interest, and you'd be absolutely bummed if you got through that box and the rares that you pulled were Shacklegeists and, you know, Sanctum of All and the Maze Mine Tomb at $1.10. You'd be bummed. You would be absolutely bummed, because you're really looking for the foil Ugin, the Teferi, because mentioning before, the top 5 list is owned by Ugin. He is 3 of 5. Teferi then follows basically the next. I think Teferi comes in at 5, and then he's just there until the end of time, pardon the pun. But that's what you're hunting. You're hunting Teferi. So I was torn. Do I bite the bullet and go for the collector box, being the price is just elite in the sense that you are going to burn money, and kind of reminds you of gambling a little bit, isn't it? It's very much a gambling sense and a thrill. And I just can't come to terms with that, because I feel like if you're a collector and you can invest, yes, the collector box is going to be where you're going to pull the foil Ugins, or have a better chance to. You're gonna pull the foil alternate art cards that hold the value, but it doesn't mean you will. And I guess that's the sense with everything. So you can get more cards out of your bundles and booster boxes just in your standard core 2021, and you can probably make back a little bit of money just through the amount of cards you get. I think the collector is, and it would be the same with any of them, very hit and miss. And I've gotten a good chunk of the alternate art cards, and I've gotten the foil Containment Priest and things like that. I've seen the borderless Teferi. The only thing you'd need is the foil to bump the value. I've seen the borderless Ugin. The only thing I need is the foil to bump the value. I don't think I need that. That's not going to fill the hole that I'm looking for in collecting MTG. The best thing I think would be having them, collecting them to say I was there to support that set. And the artwork in 2021 needs to be mentioned because I love it. I think it's very mysterical, if that's even a word. I may have invented that up. We're good at that. As I mentioned before, the game mechanics in Core 2021 is inviting for new players. There's a lot of good to come from the set. So if you come across this video and you've sat through 15 minutes of me blabbing on about the good and the bad and the ugly, hold off on the collectors until you're in a position where you can, you know, Gary V that and flip that like a baseball card. You need to look at what it is. And when I saw the sort of top 10, top 20 price list on TCG, I was shocked. And I think that alone is the sole reason why you shouldn't touch this as a collector. That's how I feel right now. I feel like the core set is never designed heavily on collector, but I also feel like the collector booster box, it turned people's heads to a position where they just jumped on it. It's everywhere right now. You can see people opening up those sorts of videos everywhere. Throne of Eldraine is the other one where the value just went down. These collector boxes are going to diminish value very, very quickly, because if everyone's doing it and everyone's opening their hands up and opening these packs, guess what? The print run would probably be higher, I'd have to assume, and there's a high chance that a lot of people are going to get these cards. And as a collector, people would have to start being a little bit scared. So hold on to anything you have pre-collectors. Keep an eye on the reserve list and things like that, and make sure if you're going to start collecting these cards, you're going to have to run a gamble on what's going to hold value and what's going to diminish. I think Core 2021's been out for a touch now. It's been out for a little bit. So this TCG price list is pretty good in that sense. I think also looking at it as American price compared to the Australian dollar, that's pretty exciting. I think that there is value in Core 2021. But I also believe that they're just going to keep running us down the mill, man. They're going to keep running us down the road, and we're just going to keep buying into this stuff. I'm done with Core 2021, by the way. So anyone who's joining the channel now, I'm done with Core 2021. I sadly had the epiphany to start talking to you guys and or myself about Magic and Pokemon and TCG World after I opened all of this stuff. I would have loved to have brought you all of that content, because we had an amazing time. And speaking of that, I did a couple of live box unboxings over on Facebook, and we had a bit of fun there as well. But that was the end of Core 2021. I had invested so heavily before that, and then it was until the bug bit me that I couldn't keep out of the shop and just kept buying these cards that I realized I should probably do something with this. This stuff makes me happy and super excited. So on that note, Core 2021's good. It holds value in I wouldn't say a lot, in some cards. You know, it goes without mention, Chromatic Orrery, $9.50, Heroic Intervention, $5.45. Looking at my list here, Azusa, $7.45, Fiery Emancipation, $9.51. That's just under Teferi, by the way. So on the list, it drops from 15 to 10 very quickly, and then it sort of goes in. Ageless Insight, Teferi's Ageless Insight, $1.10 to $1.50, depending on the card you get, standard or that sort of showcase blue border that you can get. Sublime Epiphany, $1.79. Stormwing Entity, blew my mind, $3. Once again, I have no idea why. I have 5 of them sitting there, and I was like, here we go, here's another 25 center. I pulled, you know, you could almost guarantee one. Well, I have 5 of them, and I opened up 10 bundles, so that math doesn't work out. 1 in every 2 bundles, and then I had a box on top of that. The math isn't quite working out, but I have 5 of the things. So, the chance to see Stormwing, relatively there. Why is he $3? I don't know. And then everything else just sort of teeters. 19 cents, 18 cents, 12 cents, 15 cents, 37 cents. Solemn Salacrium, $1.13. Alternate Art, the little borderless card you get, $2.53. The Temple of Epiphany, Mystery, 37 to 33 cents. Sabira Radha, 75 cents, 20 cents. You just, man, I get it. There's cards with value, there's cards that don't hold value, and that's Basri Ket Foil, $2.37. He's a Planeswalker. He is a destructive Planeswalker in a mono white deck. Plays counters. Widespread board. $2.37. Is he not that hard to find? I only found 1 in all the time that I invested. And I understand that there is, I think, the Devoted Paladin Basri Planeswalker that you can get in the structure deck. This is Basri Ket. I'm closing the book. Couple of videos coming very soon. Pokemon TCG, MTG, all that jazz. I'm looking now for some exciting Yu-Gi-Oh stuff to open up as well. I haven't touched Yu-Gi-Oh in 10 years, so that would be entertaining for you all, because I'll make a damn fool of myself. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's talk Magic. Let's talk Pokemon. Let's talk Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's talk Core 2021, Episode 1. Thank you guys so much. See you soon.